And good morning, New Mexico. We are 99.9 FM, M810. It is time for the Rusty Nut Show with Mr. Rusty Nut himself. There he is right there, Mr. Gabriel Garcia of the Auto Angel. Buenos dias, le Dios. Gabriel, how are you?
Hey, I'm spoiled rotten, Patricio. Thanks for coming in this morning. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. As always, we want to thank the Auto Angel. Great program. Gabriel and his familia. We thank you guys and his staff, and of course, Advanced Auto Parts, proud sponsors of this very, very informative, funny show. It's a funny show because of the way Gabriel and I look. It's also a very, how would you say it, informative show because
There you go.
Gabe has a lot of rust on him because he's been in the business for over how much, 30 some years?
32 years at least, 33, somewhere in there. I was 14 when I got into this industry.
Wow. And of course, I'm going to turn it around, Gabriel, the mission of
The
the,
mission of the show. So this is the deal. Those of you who just tuned in, maybe by accident, or your regular listeners of KSWV, the Rusty Nut Show is designed for me to be able to give you back information from my years of experience that'll help you make decisions when it is in concern to your automobile. So we're trying to teach you how to keep your second largest investment in life, second only to your home. Some of these cars now are 70 grand. I mean, they finance them for 7 years.
crazy.
Anyway, they're really expensive, and it's really key that you know that you feel empowered when you're making decisions in regards to maintenance and repair on these automobiles. And our number one goal, is to keep you where, Patricio?
Of course, in front of the tow truck and not on top of the tow truck. And
There we
we want to thank Bubba, our producer. If you see any misspelled words there at the bottom, it could be me, it could be
It was on
Gabriel, it
purpose.
could be Bubba. Yeah,
We misspelled it on purpose to make sure you're paying attention.
when Bubba went to high school, it was only him who graduated and walked down the aisle. So anyway,
Anyway,
we,
so once again, the average car on the road today is at least 12 years old. And
okay,
that's what this show targets as far as information. This show is an attitude of gratitude show. Patricio and I have a huge amount of gratitude for all the blessings that we have. And we'll start off by thanking the Gonzales family for giving this show a voice and all the other great shows that you guys broadcast. Without KSWV Radio, we wouldn't be able to give back to the community in this manner. So thank you so much, Patricio, for having us. Next, I want to thank my team here at the Auto Angel. As we speak, as you and I are talking, everyone here is working. I mean, you'll give you a glance there. There's Owen and Norma at the computers. They're service advisors. They're helping. And then we got some guys in the bays over here. We got a Toyota up on the rack, and we got lots going on. There's always something happening in auto repair bays across the nation. But thank you to my team for giving me the freedom to be on the radio with you. We already thanked Advanced Auto Parts, but I'll thank them again. The team there on Siler Road has a wealth of experience and the ability. I mean, they're one of the largest parts suppliers in the nation. They have the ability to get you what you need in as timely a manner as possible. So if you're looking for something as simple as a wiper blade, I recommend you go see Karen and the team there, and they'll get you going.
good
Um,
people.
Got to say hello to Summer. She might be listening. So hi, Summer. Hi to my mom. Hi to Summer's beautiful mom. Can't forget her. But if she's listening, Amazon called and they're checking to see if she's okay, because we haven't got an order through from Amazon in like a day and a half.
No,
So tell Caroline that Amazon's making sure she's okay, because they haven't had an order in a couple of days. I
are
think
you
even
saying
the
that
UPS lady's looking for us to make sure we're okay.
they might be going broke or something?
They're just checking on us. They say, man, so what's going on over there in the Garcia house? We
There you
haven't had
go.
any packages delivered here in a while.
Well, maybe the majority is for Summer and you and the girls, and Caroline thinks about you guys instead of herself. I
Now
believe.
you're being a lambe, bro. Now you're being a lambe.
Say the
Anyway,
fact.
red, white, and blue thank you to all the enlisted servicemen and women, active duty, stateside, abroad, reservists, veterans, and most of all the families that support these brave men and women. We definitely want to thank them for, there's empty chairs. We say it every week at every kitchen. Well, not at every, but at kitchen tables and dining room tables across the United States, where somebody has a loved one out serving our country, for you and I to be free here and
Yeah.
talking on the radio.
I
So
think I read somewhere where I think we still have like 2,000 military men and women out in Afghanistan. Not only there, but all
oh
over
no,
South
they're all
Korea,
over.
por donde quiera. And so we are so grateful. We live in one of the greatest countries ever because of all you military men and women, your families who have done the sacrifice, your children, your parents. It's got to be tough for parents when their kids are gone, or children when their mom or dad are gone. And I know that I think even now we have some of our own New Mexico National Guard people out of the country. So those of you listening who have family members, thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate it. Our police officers, yes, we live in a great city, not like unrest in other cities, but we live in a great city here because of our men and women, police officers, first responders, firefighters. Palo. Thank you guys very much.
Palo. Yes, thank you for putting on that uniform and putting other people's safety in front of yours. We really appreciate that. And to you and I, Patricio, our Rusty Nut certified opinion is going to be, in order to be really grateful to these men and women that sacrifice, you could do simple things. Tip your server. And not $2. Don't be all Cusco. Tip them right, 20% plus, something like that. What about
Boy.
putting your shopping cart back where it belongs? Don't leave it all tirado there and expect somebody, you're not creating a job. Put it back where it belongs. A ver, put your hand up.
How about if you're out at a restaurant and you see some military men and women in uniform having lunch and it's not too big of a party? How about if you just buy them lunch?
Ah, look at that.
Huh?
There you go.
Woo!
Hey,
Pablo, that was
Patricio, he's
profound
challenging
thinking.
us now. Now he's challenging us
Mira,
to
and
put your money where your mouth
I
is.
didn't have to put on my thinking cap for that, baby. You know what I mean? Mira my thinking cap, bro. Mira.
There you go. So Patricio, if you guys are online, go ahead and look away. You
Yeah,
don't need to see that.
we are going to upload this to our Facebook page and our social media. So those of you listening, then if you're big on social media, you can check us out on Facebook. Also, I'm sure the Auto Angel has theirs. And so just
We
a great
share
way
it.
not
We
only
share
to
it.
listen, but also you can check us out.
And remember, keep giving back, or keep doing the right things. Make good choices. Make your mom proud. Hold the door open for your wife, or for even anybody walking through the door.
Yes,
Put
sir.
gas in your wife's car, Patricio.
I'm
Don't leave
learning.
it all vacío.
I'm learning. I can
And then
admit.
we got the Azul Gracias this week. This is our blue collar thank you. This is to thank somebody doing a job that otherwise goes unnoticed, or is just not really considered. Nobody takes the time to say thank you until you really need them. And today's was by Owen. So Owen, we'll take another look at Owen. There he is. He's waving. He said that we haven't taken the initiative to thank the dog catchers, men and women in uniform, that deal with really sad situations, dangerous situations, and even gross ones. I mean, I saw him picking up a squished skunk the other day. That's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you to
I
you
hope
guys, men and women in that job. We really appreciate it. A ver, dale.
you think that skunk ate whistleberries.
He ate a few berries, that's for sure, boy. He squirted terrible.
There you go.
And even the poor plebe that ran over him, I hope they don't go by Ranger or Lee's for a tire change.
Yeah. Oh man, forget it.
You have to charge extra. And then now we'll go into the Spanglish lesson of the day, brought to you by none other than notorious, the famous, the one and only Norma. Here she goes. So we're going to do Spanglish today, and that'll lead us right into the topic of the show.
You got it. While she's getting on the headphones and the mic, we want to thank, of course, the Auto Angel. We want to thank Advanced Auto Parts on Sidley Road. And you can listen to the Rusty Nut Show every Tuesday at 10:30 right here on 99.9 FM AM 810. Muy buenos días, le de Dios, Norma. ¿Cómo está?
Buenos días, le de Dios también a usted. Muy bien. Un saludo a toda la gente bonita de Nuevo México. Esperemos que todos estén bien y felices.
Amén. Gracias a Dios. Otro día, ¿no?
Otro día más. Gracias a Dios. Una nueva oportunidad.
Yep. ¿Y qué vamos a hablar del Spanglish word of the day?
It's gonna be drive shaft, okay? So se dice eje de la transmisión.
Eje.
Ajá, es el eje de la transmisión. So if, let's say the mechanic said there is something wrong with the drive shaft. El mecánico dice que hay algo malo con el eje de la transmisión.
Con el eje, okay.
Ajá, okay.
Eje, okay. I'll remember. So eje
Muy bien.
Eje es transmisión.
No, transmission es transmisión.
No. Es drive shaft.
Es drive shaft.
Drive shaft.
Correcto. Ah, sí está poniendo atención.
Ahora sí, la luz se prendió en mi cabeza.
Muy bien, muy bueno.
Bueno,
Pasó el examen. Cuídense y
gracias.
que tengan una linda tarde. Bye
Okay,
bye.
God bless you. So there we have it
God
from
bless you too.
Norma. We heard that the drive shaft is eje. Of course, el eje, the drive shaft of the transmission, right? El eje de la transmisión está malo. Ve?
Man, not too bad, brother.
Learning,
You're getting it.
Thank you, Norma.
Norma's
Okay, so
teaching you. He's learnable. So I hope
we're-
your wife's listening. This dude can learn something. Don't let him fool you.
we're talking about drive shaft.
There we
Now,
go. So go ahead.
I guess because no question's a dumb question, so I'm going to ask the drive shaft and transmission. How does that work? I wish I had a picture.
Ask Bubba to pull it up.
So
Come on, Bubba.
is the drive shaft that long kind of pipe that goes from the transmission to the back tires?
So the drive shaft does go from the transmission all the way to the rear wheels in most cases. So again, this show targets the 12-year-old vehicle average. And when you talk drive shafts, the ones I want to talk about today are really going to be mostly in those of you listening who are driving pickup trucks, because that's the platform or the powertrain that a pickup truck uses. Not very common in most of the automobiles as far as cars that are on the road today. Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to put you on the spot. Would it be hard? I know you got all comfortable in your little chair and all that, but would it be possible? I saw that you had a truck lifted up on the rack. I don't know if it was lifted up high enough. Would you better show a drive shaft there?
Sure,
was that
we
a
can do
profound question?
That's a
One.
profound
There you
idea.
go. This way people can understand.
Somebody's thinking with his thinking cap.
Oh, yeah. So,
All right, let's see what we got. So we're going to be
there.
underneath here.
Bubba, put it back on Gabe because he has it live. There you go.
Hold on. I don't think the camera is going to do it justice without any light.
It looks pretty good. I can see it.
All
Kinda.
right. So this right here, front U joint, back of the transfer case, leading into the drive shaft. So front U joint, drive shaft, carrier bearing, because this is a long enough truck that they make the drive shaft in two pieces. And this is a slip yoke, which allows for the drive shaft to move in and out or extend and contract as the wheels turn. And this is the back of the drive shaft where the U joints touch the rear differential.
Beautiful. I loved it.
So Bubba, let Bubba go back to that photo and I'll get out of here because they're going to start making noise with a tire machine.
Okay, Bubba, if you want to go back to that photo of that drive shaft, that was a great photo. That was excellent, Gabe. But also, I love it that you could show us exactly what a drive shaft is. Bubba's going to put one up right there, Gabriel. I don't know if you can see
There
the
you
screen
go.
too.
And that's the way a brand new shiny one right out of the box will look.
I love it. And of course, real quick, folks, we're on the radio too, but also we're going to be on social media so you can see these pictures. I think it's cool that Gabriel was able to walk in there, go under a truck and show us. And then Bubba pulls one up, and this way you guys can see what it is. And this way we learn not to be ruin it ourselves, because there looks like a lot of work there, brother.
There we go. So let's talk about them. And one of the reasons I choose topics is it's usually something that's fresh through the shop recently, that somebody either suffered a catastrophic repair or something that's bringing a safety factor up. So that's kind of why I targeted drive shafts today. So first of all, for those of you who aren't as familiar with that, we'll just say a drive shaft can be referred to a couple of different names. One other word for it that's popular is propeller shaft, because it's really propelling the vehicle forward. So depending on, if you were dealing with someone in the profession, they say, ma'am, the propeller shaft on your car needs to be replaced. It'd be like, well, what's that? My car doesn't even have a propeller shaft. It's not an airplane. Well, it actually does have a propeller shaft if it's referred to. So drive shaft, propeller shaft are the same things. Its design is to transmit the mechanical power and the torque in a rotation back to the wheels. So that's its number one job. They also are attached on either end. I mentioned that I was pointing out the universal joints. So the drive shaft itself is a metal tube that doesn't really have a lot usually go wrong with it. Where the problem begins is going to be with a worn out U-joint or from some type of impact. So that's a big factor. The other thing that drive shafts come into complication is what's really popular right now. You see a lot of these pickups that are taller or higher than they were designed. Does that make sense to you? So what I'm getting at is lifted trucks. So a lot of you people out there are driving around these lifted trucks, and if it was done correctly, you don't have anything to worry about. If it was done incorrectly or somebody tries to save some money, and I'll talk about that as we move forward. So we're definitely going to be discussing more about lifted trucks and drive shafts. So for right now, we'll move in gradually, and we're just going to say to those of you who don't have a lifted vehicle, you're driving around your stock truck, what kind of maintenance can you do to prevent a repair, expensive replacement or something like that? Is going to be just to have, during your normal lube oil and filter services, if the U joints are greasable, they should be getting greased. So those of you ruin it yourselfers out there, you're doing oil changes for your primo or your cousin or something, and it's a hassle to lube the U joints. You need to bring that up. Maybe they don't take grease. Maybe there's no Zerks or something, but having that conversation, say, they're not even greasable. And that's true on a lot of them, but that's also not true on some of them where they are greasable. You with me?
I'm with you. And social media, you can find the Rest of the Nut Show on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And then, of course, you can see why Gabriel and I were originally on radio, but now with social media, we got to be on also where you can see our looks. You know what I mean? Gabriel's
still good thing I'm wearing my mask, bro.
He's still wearing his mask.
You're lucky. I'm doing you guys all favors there, no doubt.
So, real quick question. Do you well, one, we never sent any shout outs, but maybe we can do that at the end of the show. But two, with technology, you mentioned one that sometimes you don't need to lube or whatever it's called, the joints. And will vehicles always have a drive shaft? And this could be a dumb question, but I'm still going to ask it. You know what I mean? You said there's propellers now that they're called. So I'm just thinking,
well, they're always just another name for the same thing. Go ahead.
Drive shaft.
So as far as the near future can tell, there's not a better way to transmit power from the transmission to the rear wheels in these longer platform vehicles. And even the SUVs, all-wheel drives, they all have to have some way to transmit the power from the transmission to the back. And it's a reliable source. It's usually relatively low or no maintenance. But my biggest fear right now is that people aren't taking the care they need, especially with these pickup trucks, and not even just the lifted ones, but there's U-joints in the front. So now we're going to say we talked about the rear drive shaft. It's a metal tube, and it's connected on either end, usually by a U-joint. Follow?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. And not a lot of maintenance. And if you're faced with a U-joint replacement, if it's caught early enough, it won't be catastrophic. It won't be dangerous. And more often than not, most drivers will notice. So how do you notice it from the driver's seat? Usually you'll hear a noise from a worn out U-joint. So you go in gear and you can hear like a clank or a bang because the play in the U-joint is allowing the drive shaft to move a little bit more. Another very common sensation is that you'll feel a vibration. So as you're driving down the road, you'll feel the vibration like in the seat of the vehicle. And it'll change a lot of times with application of the accelerator pedal, meaning when you step on the gas, you can feel the vibration come in. You let off the gas, you can feel the vibration go away. Go ahead.
Do you change? Do you ruin the U joints and the drive shaft if you let it get not taken care of, or is it mainly just the U joints that you ruin?
So you can destroy the drive shaft, and hopefully most people, every time you hear banging, I mean, that's not good. And right. you can let the cavity turn into a root canal if you want. Realistically, it'd be in your best interest, though. When you hear these kinds of things, get them taken care of proactively, and it'll help keep the cost down. There are some modern drive shafts that don't even have serviceable U-joints. So there's some cases with some of these vehicles, and I won't use names because I don't want to make someone feel like one maker model is better than the other. I'm just going to say that some vehicles U-joints are not serviceable and the entire drive shaft must be replaced. So don't be shocked if you're in an establishment, or if you've already purchased a drive shaft and you say, I heard Patricio and the Rusty Nuts saying that you could have put U-joints and they charged me for a whole drive shaft. Well, on some cars that is true, that there is not a serviceable U-joint available for it. Let's move into what I really wanted to talk about on this show is the front drive shaft. So on 4-wheel drive vehicles. So now we're going to move out of the average car. We're going to move into an average pickup truck, 4-wheel drive though, 1/2 tons, 3/4 tons, 1 tons. Go ahead.
Okay. So when on that photo you showed us the drive shaft from the transmission to the back tires. Is there a
Correct.
drive shaft that goes from the transmission to the front tires, or how does that
Correct.
work? Or is that
So
a
that's
profound question?
exact. So it goes so on a 4-wheel drive truck, the power goes from the engine to the transmission, but then it goes to the transfer case.
Oh,
And the transfer case is what transfers the power, whether it goes to just the rear wheels or to the front wheels as well.
got it.
So let's move into the front wheels. So there's a drive shaft. It's usually shorter because the distance between the transfer case and the front wheels is closer. So it's only going to be maybe 2 feet long, 3 maybe max. Not very long on most of these trucks. 12 years old and or newer 4-wheel drive truck, 1 ton or under is what we're targeting right now. So all of you guys listening out there that have the Power Strokes and have the, the Hemis and have even those the late model Fords, it really doesn't matter what the platform is as far as powertrain. If it's 4-wheel drive, it's got a drive shaft going to the front, and we have to allow that drive shaft to go at an angle. We have to allow it to independently let the front differential like go over bumps or go into little arroyos or whatever. So the U-joint comes in all the time, allowing those motions up and down to happen. Yet we still need the torque twisting from the transfer case. So that linear shaft has to be solid, and on either end, we have to have U-joints. The one that really needs to be talked about today and that I really wanted to target is on that front drive shaft where the drive shaft connects to the transfer case. In a lot of cases, that angle is pretty steep because it's a short distance and it's dropping to the front diff. And that angle usually requires 2 U-joints on the one side. So back-to-back U-joints. And that's usually referred to as a double cardan joint. Say that, Patricio.
Double cardan joint because of the 12-wheel drive and because of the angle. I'm listening, brother.
That's what I wanted to hear.
I don't got these big old orejas for nothing.
They're working good today. I think you must have cleaned them over the weekend.
I'm awake. I'm not falling asleep. What's that picture that Bubba's showing? Because is that the wrong one?
There you go. So that has a front drive shaft, and on the end to the left-hand corner on the top corner, that's the double cardan. That's U-joints back to back, and in the center they have a yoke, and that yoke replaces. So it's the thing that we really want to talk about. That is that joint needs to be maintained. It needs to be greased on most of these. They're greasable on almost every one of them.
We're talking about the left corner up on top.
Top corner to your left.
And then the bottom one goes into the what is the bottom?
The bottom one connects directly to the drive shaft, to the front differential.
Front differential. Got it. Good job,
Bubba.
The
double cardan. See the difference? See how much bigger it is on the top?
Yes, sir.
It's because it has 2 U-joints back to back. And now that one is where things get they get dangerous fast. So when let's just envision your pickup truck going down the road, even 40 miles an hour. If one end of those breaks, what happened?
You drop your drive shaft?
There you go. And if it were to fall out, let's say it falls out in the front end, now you might be catapulted end over end. All of a sudden it went from no joke to death maybe.
Right.
So, and that's a big issue. So we want to talk about the maintenance on that front drive shaft is critical. A lot of people, when you face them, as a professional entity, they come to you and they say, sir, that front drive shaft's really worn out and it needs to be replaced. You guys have we've recommended it multiple times. It's getting dangerous. It's like, I never even use 4-wheel drive. I don't want to spend $1,000 on a drive shaft. No. But what they don't realize on a lot of these vehicles is it's spinning no matter whether you're in 4-wheel drive or not. And I don't want to get too confusing. All I'm saying right now is if that drive shaft comes apart, the threat of you getting physically hurt is very possible.
Right. Because it seems like it could either hit on the pavement and either go through the truck or whatever it is, or like you said, you really move your vehicle up some way where you come down.
One of the things, so to Lee's listening maybe, or Rangers listening, or anyone in this industry, there is also the potential where a technician can purchase a drive shaft to replace one, right? The customer agrees, you put it on, you tighten it up, and you send it down the road. Well, there's a sticker on some of these things that say that you need to grease them, that they don't come greased for packaging reasons or whatever the case may be. And that sticker, you almost need a magnifying glass to read it. And it is, I'm not going to say it's an epidemic, but it's a big enough problem in the industry that if you Google it, you will see where these drive shafts don't get lubricated. And when they fail, we've seen one firsthand where it totaled the truck, basically. I mean, literally totaled it. It didn't flip over, but the drive shaft literally came through the floor of the truck. It tore up all the fuel lines, all the harness. It broke the transmission housing. The actual transmission broke. The transfer case destroyed. And the person that was driving it narrowly escaped, a serious injury. I mean, you could literally see the ground from where the driver was sitting. That truck was legally totaled.
That's crazy. And of course, and real quick, Gabriel, we got about 3 minutes, but tell me, so there's really no maintenance that people can do on their drive shaft other than take it in and have professionals like the Auto Angel look at, is it the U-joints or what is it that you
So
guys
let's
look
talk
for when
about
you-
that. So for people, drivers, pay attention to these. You're looking for squeaking noises when you're rotating. So the vehicle has to be moving. If it's rolling, has to be rolling, and you hear noises and you come to a stop and the noise changes, and the faster you go, the faster the noise is, that warrants, some inspection by somebody. That's characteristically what a U-joint will sound like as they dry out. You're literally listening to metal against metal without any lubrication. A clunk, it's almost like a ringing sound, like ting, like a tinny ring when you engage it from park to drive, that you'll hear a worn U-joint, and you usually only ting like once. Also, when you're going to, driving down the road, I mentioned vibration, and it's not like a big vibration, like a thump, like you might, like if you had a big ball on the tire or something. It's more of a real sharp vibration, where you can literally, it's just like a buzzing vibration, and it changes with usually touching of the accelerator pedal. And then one other key sometimes is fluid leaks. Sometimes as that vibration's happening, it'll take out an output shaft seal on a transmission or something. So I'll hear somebody tell me sometimes, well, that seal's leaking, and somebody already replaced it once before. Now I'm going to take a little bit closer look as to that U-joint. Is it worn out? Is it, so bad that it's shaking, vibrating so bad it's ruining seal? So fluid leaks can also lead to the necessity of a U-joint. If I can leave listeners with anything, is going to be, if you are warned about a U-joint, take it serious, because whether it's in the back or the front, it can be dangerous. And those of you listeners that either lifted a truck, or the one we see the most that's the scariest, is parents are buying their kids a lifted truck from somebody who lifted it in the backyard, and the drive shafts are dangerous on those if they're not done right. So please, 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 if you just bought your high school kid a nice used truck and it came all lifted and everyone loves it because it's beautiful, get it looked at. Make sure that front drive shaft, even the back one, make sure they're the right length. Somebody who knows what they're doing needs to make sure that they're safe.
And 30 seconds, Gabe, and then we're going to send some shout outs. 30 seconds. So what kind of damage? I know it's dangerous where it could just mess up the truck completely. What else does it do damage to if somebody lifts their truck or their vehicle and doesn't do it right? Besides the drive shaft,
basically the drive shaft come apart.
Does
if it comes apart,
tires, your steering column, can it stuff like that, or not really?
well, there's definitely a lot of ways to lift a vehicle wrong. But so yeah, there's a lot of reasons why you want to have a lifted truck. Now, granted, you can buy trucks that have been lifted professionally, and the guy, you bought it from somebody used. They say, I bought it from the dealer. I've owned it for 20 years, like the 10 years. That doesn't warrant as much fear. It's the ones that, we put the lift kit on ourselves, or we had the lift installed when I bought it like this and I added the lift. That's the one that warrants some attention.
You got it.
We definitely want to be looking at that. All right, shout out time. Let's get it done.
I'll go. I want to say hi, of course, to my good friend who is a faithful listener, Benny Zamora, and of course, Rangers always listening. I want to say hi to Joe Ortiz. I want to say hi to Ron and Angela Chavez, good friends that listen all the time, and of course, my brother-in-laws listen all the time. Rick and Jim and Bob, they listen. They like this show. Very informative, they say.
All right. Well, tell them to lube the front drive shaft, whatever they do.
Yeah. Don't be all
especially
Cusco.
The front one. Yeah. Don't be Cusco. Tip your server. Hi, Mom. Hi to me, Hermana Susana. And of course, I already said hi to my wife and my kiddos. And I am always just very grateful to anyone who has trusted the Auto Angel with your vehicle. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I was supposed to say a shout out to Eric Martinez's daughter. I know her last name's Romero. I don't remember her first name. She is a Marine. She's serving right now in San Diego. Her little sister's car is here today, and I asked him, but I don't want to say the wrong name, so I'm going to hold. But Eric Martinez, he's a proud dad. Good job raising a Marine, and we really appreciate that.
Eric, that's what happens when you let a rusty nut show, a rusty nut air personality try to stab your daughter. He forgot.
Write
He's
it
old.
down. I got to write
Anyway,
it down.
Advanced Auto Parts, thank you guys for
That was
being a great
Friday.
sponsor. We appreciate it. And of course, Gabriel Garcia of the Auto Angel, 424-3899, 424-3899. Good people there, honest people, dependable people. The Rusty Nut Show heard every Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. on 99.9 FM, AM 810. You can also catch us on social media. Bubba, we want to thank Bubba, our producer. Good stuff, Bubba. We appreciate that photo as well. God bless you, Gabriel. And for
You
all
too,
of you,
bro. Have a good one.
we appreciate all of you guys listening. God bless
Check
you.
out that aloe vera, dude. Look at that thing. Isn't it awesome?
I like it. Okay.
That thing's fierce. All right, brother. Have a good one.
Regular programming right here on 99.9 FM, AM 810.